Hi YouTube, welcome to this video in which I will be finally doing a review of the lights that are above my reef tank. The fixture that is above the reef tank is a Giesemann Aurora hybrid, which has both LEDs and T5s incorporated. I will first discuss the technical part of the lights, then the next thing I will discuss is the app that you're using to control it and how it's working, and then finally I'll give some thoughts on why I'm using these lights and what I think about them. So first to the technical stuff. As you can see, these lights are as broad as my tank. My tank is a Reefer 525, which is 150 centimeters wide, and so is the light. So as you can see, it consists of LED pads, which are in the middle of the fixture, and there are 4 T5 bulbs on the sides. One of the main benefits of this light is that the T5s are slightly aiming inward, which means that there's not much spread light in your living room. So although there is some, as you can see on the wall, it's not nearly as bad as the spread that you have with light fixtures that are flat. So as you can see, it's curved, and because of this curve, the light is aiming inside your aquarium instead of outside it. So like I said, there's LEDs and T5s. There are 4 T5 bulbs in there, which are 80 watts each. So that's 160 watts on each side, which makes 320 in total. And the LED pads are 75 watts each. And since there are 4, I'll show you one. Since there are 4 LED pads, that makes up a total of 300 watts. So there's just over 600 watts of light in this fixture that I'm using. That should be more than enough to cover this tank. As with T5s, an average of 1 watt per liter is advised to keep everything in your tank healthy. The lights are powered by 3 power cords, as you can see right here. One of the main benefits of this is that there's no additional adapter. So these are just 3 plugs going straight into the cabinet and then straight into a power plug. So there's no big, bulky, hot adapter involved, which is the case with some of the other lights that are on the market. So that's definitely a benefit. As you can see, I've hung these from the ceiling. There are 2 plugs in my ceiling, so I'll show you right now, which are holding the lights. They are delivered with it when you buy the system, so you can hang it from the ceiling yourself. And there's, in the light itself, there are 2 holes with screws in them, where you can screw them and then use this wire to hang them from the ceiling and make adjustments if necessary. So you can actually hang it lower or higher by using this system. When you're pushing the top, then you're able to move the cord and you move it up and down. So like I mentioned, the next step is reviewing the app and all the settings that are involved. I have a phone set up right here. I'll pick it up and then we'll walk through some of the settings that are possible with this light. Let me first focus the camera. Yep, there it is. So I have already connected the app. You connect it through Bluetooth, and you can do that either on an Android phone, a Windows laptop, or a Mac OS laptop. So as far as I know, it's not yet possible to do this from an iOS device, which is definitely a downside. But yeah, I'm using Android anyway, so for me it's not a problem. But if you're only using iOS devices and you don't have any a laptop with Bluetooth or a MacBook with Bluetooth, then you definitely have to look for something to control it with, since that's the only way to make adjustments to the settings. So there's a couple of settings that I'm using. I'll walk through them. One of the most important ones is the day cycle. So that's actually the setting of the light throughout the day. So when you move to the right, you can call up the data. Now it collects the data from the light itself. So this is what I set. There are 5 channels that you can control. The first one is called white-red, that's the first T5 channel. The second one is called white-green, that's the second T5 channel. Then there's royal blue, which is one of the LED pad settings, marine blue, and white-purple, which are the white LEDs inside the lights. So, as you can see, I have set my T5s to 100%. They're building up from around 10 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning, and then throughout the day they'll be going to 100%, and then in the evening around 7, 8, 9 they're shutting down. So I try to keep around 12 hours of T5, and the LEDs are an extra. One of the things I'm not using is the white LEDs. They're at 0%. The reason for that, a lot of people are using them, but for me, I think the light is very bright, and I've seen different effects on my corals. Some of them didn't like it very much, and that's why I decided to go with somewhat wider T5 bulbs. That's the Ati Coral Plus bulbs. So all 4 of them are Ati Coral Plus bulbs, and not use the white LED channel, but only use the blue channels. So that's a personal preference. You're perfectly fine to use the white LED channels. I've seen people use it. I've seen my local fish store is using it as well, and the corals are doing fine under it. So it's really a personal preference to not use this channel. Well, other than that, you can set it to whatever you like. Of course, I can imagine that you want to know what the lighting looks like. So I'm going to show you. One more thing, if you want to, if you edit some of these settings, you can just push one of the white buttons and move it around, so you can do whatever you like throughout the day. It's really flexible and versatile to change. And when you want to save it, you can push the transferred button. When you do that, it will send the new settings that you just configured here to the lights. So that's the most important function of this menu. Then the next one that I'm going to be showing you is the color mixer. And that's actually to show you what kind of effect every light has on the tank. As you can see, the tank lights have gone off now. That's because the color mixer is taking over. And I'm going to show you the effects of each of the channels. So remember, the first ones are the T5 channels. And as you can see right now, I've turned them on. I'll quickly make some adjustments so you can see what's happening. Right now, I'm using the T5 channels and I'm boosting them to 100%. So right now, the tank is using only the Ati Coral Plus bulbs to light the tank. And as you can see, it's a very white, natural light, which still brings out the corals very nicely. So as a proof, you can see these are only the T5 bulbs. I think this alone gives the tank a nice clean look, although the colors do look a bit more dull. And what I mean is that you don't see the reflections of the what you typically see from an LED light. You see nice reflections shimmering on the bottom of the tank, which you would also see in the ocean, and that's not present at the moment. So although I do like the color, this could be my daily color, I would be perfectly fine with that because it really brings out the nice natural colors of the coral. It's not something I would use daily because I really like the shimmering. That's also one of the reasons that I moved from an all T5 fixture to a hybrid fixture. So now let's make some adjustments. Let's add some blue into the equation. So now I've just added some royal blue, and as you can see, I'll do it again. This is without the royal blue, and this is adding a full royal blue channel. So now it's completely So now the royal blue channel is completely open and adjacent to the T5s. So you can see there's a lot of blue going on. And now when I'm adding the marine blue as well, then it gives another perspective to the tank, which is, it's turning more blue every percent you're adding, of course. So this is with marine blue as well. Now I'm removing the royal blue and I'm removing the marine blue. So as you can see, now it's back to the T5s. Another thing I want to show you is when you turn off the T5s as well and you're turning on only the white LEDs, you kind of create the same, well, not really the same, because I think it's much more bland than with the T5s, but there's a lot of shimmer going on. So this is only the white LEDs, which, by the way, like I said before, I'm not using these, and I'm not using this channel because for me, I dislike the color that this creates. Although the shimmer on the bottom, as you can see here, there's a lot of shimmering going on. So if you're into shimmering, then definitely use this. And of course, when you add blue and royal blue, then the colors are starting to look a lot nicer. So actually, this is the tank when it's running on a 100%, around 100%, like I can show you here, only LEDs. So that's a possibility. If you buy these lights, you don't want or you can't use the T5s, then it's definitely possible to work with just the LED channels. I'll give you a quick, I hope this works. Yeah, this works. The white channel, as you can see, there's also a red LED inside and there's also a green one. The green one is a little bit harder to identify because it looks like the blue ones, but you can see the red one. So yeah, definitely possible, but certainly not my preference. Then, as a last step, I'll add the T5s as well. And then you have a really bright tank. This is the whole fixture set to 100%. So every light is booming right now. Everything is 100%. As you can see, there's loads of light. I think it's way too much, since I'm keeping a lot of LPS corals as well. So I'm going to tune it down quickly after making this video, return it back to the normal day settings. But it's just to give you a quick overview of what it looks like when everything is at 100%, also the white LEDs. As you can see, because the LEDs are powered on completely, you can still see some shimmer on the bottom. Here, it's better to show it like this. So if you're into the shimmering from the LEDs, then it's definitely worth considering using also the white LED channel. So that was a quick demo of all the different colors that are involved in the light. One last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tune down all the whites, so you can see what it looks like under full blue. Now this is something that you would enjoy in the evening, or at least I do, since the colors really come out very well. And it's difficult to catch on camera because the camera lens is struggling to convert the fluorescent colors into something visible, but it's working out okay. But of course, in person it's always more vibrant, it's more fun to look at, it's much more beautiful to watch. But this gives you a good overview of what it looks like in the evening. Of course, this is at 100%, so in the evening you want it down to somewhat like 50-40%. But that's something you'll figure out yourself if you're going to buy these lights. So let's return. One last thing. Here you can see LEDs, blues, full on marine blue, royal blue. So let's push the ready button and then it will return to the daily mode, which I showed earlier. So this is the regular settings again, in case you forgot. And this is the color that I like. This is the scheme that I came up with after a year of testing different color schemes, different combinations. I really enjoy this color because it brings out both the fluorescent colors in all the corals. It gives a somewhat natural look because it's not overly blue in my opinion, and there's still some shimmer on the bottom which you can enjoy if you're into a more natural reef. So yeah, that's part 2 of the video. I'll put down the phone. And the last thing I'm going to discuss with you is my personal opinions on these lights. As you might imagine, I'm very happy with these lights. I have been using them for about 1.5 years now, May 2016. So yeah, that's 1.5 years. I've tried various T5 bulbs, blue ones, actinic ones, purplish ones, but I came back to the Ati Coral Plus bulb because I think overall it's a very balanced color that you're getting. It's somewhat on the whiter side, which nicely accompanies the blue LED channels in the lights. So yeah, overall I'm very satisfied with these lights. They give just the right amount of light that I need in my tank. The corals are definitely enjoying it. They're growing fine. Of course, that's not all contributed to the light because you also need good and stable water values, but the light is definitely one of the most important things that you need to consider when you're buying when you're going into buying a reef tank and setting up a reef tank. Please consider the health of your corals. So although going for full LED might sound attractive, there are only a few full LED bulb fixtures on the market which are actually beneficial to your corals. You're talking about the more high-end LED fixtures then, so like the Hydra HD, like the Radion G3, G4. These are really well balanced LED lights. But yeah, the lights are something you need to invest in. It can be a lot of money if you're going to buy one new. I didn't buy mine new. I bought it second hand. So that's also, I think I paid around 50% of the retail price, which is, for me, I think it was a good deal back then. Because the retail prices can be quite astonishing. I think this fixture might cost you around 1,600 to 1,800 euros or dollars. So I bought it for half. So yeah, that's, for me, that's acceptable. And yeah, since I also already enjoyed these lights for 1.5 years, I'd say they're definitely worth it. It's just very nice to have a combination of LED and T5 and see how much your corals are appreciating it, because yeah, after all, what you want is a healthy reef, and the only way you're going to have a healthy reef is with stable water parameters and a good light. So I think these two are the main important things when keeping a reef tank. So I'm going to give you one last overview of my corals. Why? Because I think coral growth is one of the most obvious things that you get when using good lights. Also coral placement, of course, so don't put your LPS too high in your tank unless you know they can handle it. Sps Corals, my tank is not really an SPS tank since I have quite high nutrients, but that's a personal choice, and still, because I'm using good lights, I'm able to keep SPS regardless of my higher water values. So my water is somewhat less clean, but still SPS is able to grow in my tank. But yeah, as you can see, I'm really into LPS. And coming back to the lights, I think, yeah, using a T5 LED combination is the best thing to do when you're buying a reef tank. So yeah, that concludes this video. Please consider this light when you're looking for a new light.